Hello, everybody. Great to be here. Nuno, wonderful to be in conversation with you. Perhaps let's start with you providing a brief overview of your role at HSBC.
Sure. So first, good morning. I am Nuno Matos. Real pleasure to be here. I run, if you want, the retail and wealth business in HSBC, which means the whole client continuum, from mass market to mass affluent to private banking customers, to whom we deliver, if you want, transactional banking, lending services, wealth services, and insurance and asset management. And we do this around 51 countries to around 41 million customers. So that's what we do.
Wow, big responsibility, big operations, wonderful. Now, as just mentioned, it's a complex and tumultuous time out there for investors, for your clients. What are you seeing in terms of the outlook for wealth in general and the trends that are shaping it?
Sure. Listen, wealth is a direct correlation of sustainable economic growth. And in that regard, the wealth story will continue. It's a structural story, if you want, and I believe is the most compelling opportunity in the consumer segment today. Now, let me give you the trends. First, the ones that did not change, that continue, and that's Asia. Asia has grown twice as fast as the rest of the world, Asia wealth. And it will continue to be the case in the next 10 years, right? With the expansion of the middle class, with the new generation of entrepreneurs, that story will continue to outpace the rest of the world. Asia wealth, excluding Japan, is going to be bigger than the entire West in the next 2 years, and Europe. Wow. So you can see the power of Asia. Which things did change? Well, risk levels, volatility. For many years, we had extreme monetary policy with basically no volatility. And investors, I would say, became complacent. You could almost buy anything, equity, fixed income, credit, private, real estate, everything went up directionally with very low volatility. That's gone. That's over. Which means that from now on, going back to the old principles of diversification, is absolutely critical. You can have high conviction, but you can't replace it with no diversification and cautious risk management. And the other thing it's changing, obviously, is rates. Rates are high, which means that fixed income is back. We have a yield to play. Even term deposits in banks are now sexy again, which is curious. And value stocks are coming back versus growth stocks. And finally, I would say wealth is a global business. Despite geopolitics, which undoubtedly are a problem, as we just saw there, despite geopolitics, capital flows and people mobility, it's still going up. And the creation of wealth is a global phenomenon, and the corridors of wealth makes it a global business. And for wealth managers like us, we need to understand how to serve the customers in a global world.
Fascinating, interesting. We're talking about wealth, but let's just talk about what that means. I mean, society as a whole has been through so much in recent years. How do you think these experiences have shaped the perception, the definition of what wealth is for, again, your clients and prospective clients?
Sure, I would say there is an interesting trend, which undoubtedly the pandemic has accelerated. We see our customers much more concentrated on this concept of life quality, which is also redesigning their life goals. And when I say customers, I mean us, society in general. We see customers clearly, and our research tells us that life quality is not anymore only a question of financial wealth. Mm-hmm. It goes beyond that. It's about physical wellness, mental wellness, and financial wellness, and they are absolutely intertwined. And as a wealth manager, we need to understand that. We need to understand the life stage of a customer. Is he at the beginning of his career, where he's basically saving and accumulating, and probably health issues are not so relevant? Or is at the end of his career, where he wants to protect his wealth, eventually plan for the transfer of his wealth, and the health part of his life is very, very important if you want to enjoy life. So a wealth manager today has to understand these two sides of the equation, the wealth generation, the wealth protection, but also the health component. This is critical. And we are seeing more and more our customers, and the pandemic accelerated that, very much concerned on how they transfer their wealth, how they do legacy planning. And we also see very much families trying to prolong the family wealth, even more concentrated on that than on just growing it.
Right.
So this is a trend that clearly the pandemic, I would say, accelerated, and I think customers are thinking about it.
And okay, so that's kind of very interesting, and the different variety of offerings. What does this mean? What does all that mean? The macro trends, the definition of wealth, what it means. What does it mean for your business and HSBC in general, and what you see is in store in the near term?
Sure. Well, we want to be the best wealth manager to our customers, right? And since we are in Asia, let me say that in Asia we want to be the best and the biggest. And I'm very proud to say that we achieved to be the biggest Asia wealth manager ex-Japan at the end of 2022. We are now the biggest and also the best, I would say. What does that mean? Well, geographically, we continue to expand, I would say, pretty much at a fast pace in our core Asian markets. That means obviously Hong Kong, China, India, in Singapore. And as a global wealth manager, we have to be strengthening continuously our presence in the international wealth hubs. And we are present in all relevant international hubs in the world. And that means we're constantly building up our New York business, London business, Jersey, Switzerland, Luxembourg, and UAE, apart from the ones I just said. And critically to wealth, as said, wealth is a global business, more global by the day, if you want. We need to continue to invest in the corridors, because wealth is created in one part of the world and flows to other parts of the world. You have to be on both sides. So we are building our coverage of the Asian corridors, of the North Asian corridors, of the Middle East corridors, because you need to be covering the world if you want to be a credible, a 360 wealth manager. I also would say that one of the elements that distinguish us is that we are an advisor, meaning we understand who are our customers. We don't talk about products. We talk about our customers. We have to understand their life stages, as I said. We have to understand their risk appetite, their risk tolerance, their financial knowledge. Only after that, you can come with a diversified solution that for sure crosses many asset classes and exposures and locations in the world, so you can be a great wealth manager. And what we are doing is we are building a great frontline people. Just in the last 2 years, we hired 2,000 people to our 5,000 we had in Asia. So we are doubling it, by the way, in the next 5 years from 5,000 to 10,000. And they are going through best-in-class training. And by the way, we are using artificial intelligence to accelerate, and ChatGPT, to accelerate how fast we can onboard an RM, a banker, so we can have productive and deep knowledge conversations with our customers.
Good.
So we are doing this, and we are very, very excited.
Okay, good. Just one quick question. We're out of time, but I've got to ask because I'm sure people want to know, what are some of the investment opportunities you and your team are excited about for your clients? Maybe just briefly touch on.
Sure. Well, the world turned, obviously, and we have to acknowledge that today rates are shouting at us. They are saying something to us. So we believe that at this moment, going into fixed income is a good opportunity, especially investment grade, because the scenario is still very volatile. I would say medium-term duration between 3 and 7 years. We believe that's a good opportunity. We also believe that geographically, Asia is the place to be. And that includes North Asia, that includes mainland China. It's very resilient. It's growing faster than the rest of the world. It's a medium-term, long-term, if you want, trend. So this is a good place to be, I would say.
Great, excellent. Exciting times for you and for HSBC. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.